Deadman is in the kitchen with us this morning. He's the division chef for U.S. Foods. And what is U.S. Foods?
U.S. Foods is a food company and leading distributor in the state of Wisconsin and across the country. We bring innovative products and ideas, business solutions to well over 1,000 customers across the state.
And today he's bringing some ideas to us in our kitchen and hopefully to you and yours, especially if you're planning a big crowd over the holidays and you want to feed them some food. What's your recipe that you're sharing with us?
Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of just doing mashed potatoes, we're going to do a little polenta cakes that I've made here. I've got some pot roast here sliced up, and some roasted tomatoes and red onion jam.
Okay, we're going to make this look so pretty that your guests will be impressed. How do we get started?
What we're going to do first is I've got my pot roast heating up a little bit in the pot here now. One of the things that's a little bit of a struggle sometimes is that we only have one oven and we only have one stove to work with when we're doing 20 people suddenly at our house during the holidays, and we want to spend time with our families, not freak out in the kitchen.
And timing is so difficult.
It is. So we want to kind of eliminate some of that. So I've already taken the liberty of doing the pot roast, which you can do at home. You could heat it back up in your Nesco or in your crock pot.
So do it ahead of time.
Do it ahead of time.
Have the pot roast ready.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Then we're going to get our polenta cake started here, and I got my grandma's iron skillet, literally grandma's iron skillet.
It's been around for a while.
It's been around for a while. We're just going to toast those on each side a little bit, and I'm just using this little cutter, but if you didn't have the cutter, you could always use a soup can. Cleaned out. Oh yeah, you don't need to have anything fancy. We can do it old school.
I never thought of that.
And then go ahead.
Your polenta cake, where did that come from?
So the polenta is a traditional Italian dish, and actually I make mine with semolina flour instead of cornmeal. It's a little bit smoother. I've got this beautiful smoked fontina inside of it. Salt and pepper, just a little bit of butter, so literally just like mashed potatoes.
Make that ahead of time too then?
Absolutely, absolutely. In a cookie sheet, turn it over, it peels right out, super easy. Then we're going to just do our little saute. Now again, roasted tomatoes, beautiful. Red onion jam, really cool. But you know, always what happens again is we just have that one oven, and we don't want our pies to taste like tomatoes. So we're also going to saute our roasted tomatoes here. So we just really need to do a little bit of warming up, and we can just add our jam as well. Just a little bit, just to make this little light saute. So a dish that you're making the red onion jam, that's going to take 2 hours. You're making the roasted tomatoes, that's 45 minutes. The polenta, again, it's going to be another, hour of heating and cooking. We can do all of that maybe the day before, a couple of days before, and we can make this whole dish.
So it's all ready to go. You're just really warming it up and assembling it and doing the finishing touches on it.
Exactly, exactly. And then you can really just play with the kids, have a little more fun. That way it doesn't have to be.
Sip some wine with your guests.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. A hot toddy.
A hot toddy at this time of year, yes. Okay, and how long do they cook on each side?
Depending on it's probably about a minute. They don't need too much.
Okay.
Because we're just really going to warm it through. You can do a little brown if you want to. This recipe also with the semolina, it also bakes beautifully in the oven. Almost turns out like a fluffy souffle.
Oh, gosh, it smells so delightful in here. So the recipes you've shared with us.
Absolutely.
They're online, fox11online.com. This is what it looks like when you've plated it up. How beautiful is that?
Well, and it's really very simple. And the little drizzle I've done around the edge is just a little bit of Worcestershire reduction. So it's just Worcestershire sauce reduced by half, and it has this really crazy pepper flavor. Super fun. And the chef's line pot roast that I'm using here gives it a nice sliceability. It's got great flavors, and your home recipe or whatever recipe you want to use is beautiful. Plus with the pot roast, timing is just not as important because the longer it cooks, the better it's going to be.
Well, I'd like to dive right into that for breakfast this morning. Foster Deadman, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
He'll be back next hour with a dessert recipe for us.
Jam jar pumpkin spice maple cake.
Oh, it sounds so good. Again, recipes online, and don't go anywhere. You're watching Good Day Wisconsin. Can I try one of those?
Of course, of course.
Just got a little bit.
Just a nibble.